Now, I know what you guys are thinking. We just gave up and quit doing this. Or maybe you're thinking that we've been silenced by the new administration for being crap. I don't know what you're thinking, but whatever it was you're thinking, we were just on vacation. We're back. Hello, everybody. This is USfanTV. It is Tuesday night. I am Pat. We also have with us today, as usual, Chris.
Hello, everyone.
And tonight,
I'm back from the sunny climes of Mexico.
Yes, I want to ask you about that in a minute. And we also have tonight a very special guest that you should be excited to have with you, TJ. Hi, TJ.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And tonight,
good to be back. I don't know why, but you guys must have hit the bottom of the barrel again.
Chris joins us. He was in Narcoland for a while. There was a mass murder where you were in Playa del Carmen. Luckily, you did
just
not
a few
die.
miles away.
You did not
even
die,
a few
which
miles,
is
like
good.
a mile and a half away, something like that. Yeah. Fortunately, it was the first night I was there. I'd been up at 2:30 or something the night before to get to the airport, so I was actually long asleep by the time that happened. But
exciting.
Yeah. When we stumbled across it a couple days later, only to find that armed cops standing out with like machine guns and things around the place. It was like, oh, that's the place. I feel a little less safe now.
Were there any good soccer related stories when you were there, or any good stories at all?
I was able to watch some games. I think I have, as some followers of our website or Twitter feed or Facebook may have noted. I think I may have picked my my Liga MX team.
Pachuca?
I think it may be Pachuca. A dog and a cat on the field. This just seems it's so ridiculous that I think I may have Omar Gonzalez, and I also have met Omar Gonzalez, and he was really cool. So
that's a good point. Do you know they play at the their training center is the Joseph Blatter Center?
That sounds like another reason to like them.
So
you're
it's
going
perfect
for the bottom of the barrel. You're going all out.
Perfect. Yeah.
It is Pachuca. Me llamo Pachuca.
All right, so
I mean me llamo. Me gusta. Sorry.
Yeah, not me llamo. You're working on it.
Me llamo. Yeah. One thing I haven't shared with either of you. You will not believe this. Guess what happened driving home from Chicago following my arrival yesterday?
Well, they didn't arrest you.
Flat tire. Got
Again?
another flat tire.
Something goes wrong with Chris's
Different
car
tire
every time
this
he comes to
time.
my house. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Maybe stop driving over.
Yeah, another flat tire.
Nails and stuff like that.
Year and a half, I bought 6 new tires for my car.
Hey, we have like 15 to 18 things to talk about tonight.
Might as well jump right in.
But I'm going to start with the most important.
Oh, we didn't note it was also young Patrick's birthday last week.
It was.
So
it was.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. A birthday present for me came in the form of Freddy Adu going on trial with the Portland Timbers. You know, I was pretty stunned to learn that Freddy Adu, and this is one of these things I need to remind myself of all the time, Freddy Adu is 27.
So they say.
Well, that's true. What was the name of that Little League pitcher, Danny Almonte or whatever it was? He was like, he had like a mustache, but he was 14 or whatever it was. Yeah,
I was going to say Albert Pujols.
And it doesn't seem insane that he would actually be useful to the Portland Timbers. I could see it working out, and I wish him well. And I think the days of him playing for the national team are long gone. But hell, he's only 27. Who knows? Maybe by the time he's 31 or 31 on paper, he will work his way up back to the team. I don't know, but it's cool to see him.
He always had talent. He just lacked discretion. He didn't know when he should dribble and when he should pass. And I think that's always been the problem with him and at every team he's ever played for, because in the end, when he should be passing, he's looking to dribble around somebody. When he should be looking to dribble around somebody, then he looks to pass. And it's like he still has a 15-year-old's vision of the game, I guess, as opposed to whatever age he should be. So I don't know. Good luck to him. But
people always mention his name anytime we're overhyping somebody like Pulisic, but I mean, it's every situation is different than the Freddy Adu situation. He was a pro at 14. I mean, what? Not even
face
Messi
of
should have
Sprite or whatever it was.
Like that's ridiculous. That's not. You're not mentally ready for that at 14. Physically, you might be, but you probably not. But mentally, no way that should have been thrust upon him. That was and that's probably what led to his. I don't want to call it his demise because he hasn't really been terrible, but he never lived up to expectations. So
no, you can call it demise. I'm looking at some of the teams he's played for, and no, demise is a good word. Got to remember, he was with the Tampa Bay Rowdies the last year and a half, and he made 12 appearances in a year and a half. And I think this past season he had 2.
Wow, was he hurt or was that just? I don't know. You follow the lower leagues more than I do.
Yeah, he was not hurt.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
No, it's not a good sign. That said, he is 27. This will be his 13th team if he sticks with the Portland Timbers. And if he doesn't, he would be smart to go down to USL and get some time in there, wherever he can play at this point. But I think Chris hit the nail on the head. He never learned to read the game. And by 27, you should, especially when you're on your 12th or 13th team, you should have a good idea, especially playing in that many systems, how to read the field. And he still can't do it.
I have much better news than this. Some genuinely awesome news came out today, also out of the Pacific Northwest. Clint Dempsey was cleared to play. Cleared to train, I should say. Cleared to train. So he's rejoining Seattle. And Bruce had mentioned that he had hoped to have him in Camp Cupcake. That didn't work out. And then in his latest Facebook Live, Bruce said, we're hoping that Clint gets back, starts training with Seattle, and maybe he'll be ready to go for the March qualifiers. But whatever happens with Clint, it's awesome to hear that he's in a position where he can play soccer again, because that must mean good things for his heart if the doctors have this right. And I hope they do. So this is good. This is great. What do you guys think? Are we going to see Clint again this year with the national team?
As long as he's playing, absolutely. I mean, my personal feeling is he should kind of be more of a super sub at this point. I just don't feel that he ever really it's hard to say this for somebody who's scored as often as he has over, say, the last year, but I don't really feel like he has a set position with this squad. He doesn't fit into a specific role, and too many of these guys do, and he's not the supreme player on the field to be the guy who can just not have a role. So I see him more as somebody who can come on at, say, the 70th minute or something when we need a goal. That is one thing. He is very good at finding the net, and he is very good at kind of getting pumped up for portions of the game. I mean, the other side is he's never been a guy who was there for entire games. Now, some of that is he's more of a goal poacher kind of guy. Those people tend to come and go because they really only look good when they're getting the most service. He doesn't have the speed to truly carry things, and he doesn't have the range of passing to be a deep lying enough playing maker that he can kind of overcome the lack of speed. So I see him as somebody who can come on. Can he still contribute? Absolutely. And in that regard, I think, yeah, we'll see him. I think we'll also see him just because, if nothing else, who do we really have who's kind of an extreme veteran? I mean, it's about Bradley and Jones if he's there, which Bruce seems to make it sound like he will be, but at least one of those games in March he won't be. So Dempsey has a role. Good luck to him.
Yeah, I think he does too. What's going on with my camera here? Can you focus there, camera? Let's make it focus.
Made you look better.
There we go. I know. Like,
no, but kind of piggyback off Chris. No, I think there is definitely a role for Deuce. They don't have enough talent where they can't use him in some role. And I do like the idea of him after about the 65th or 70th minute when they need a goal, because he can play either striker spot. He can just kind of go walk about like he's been known to do and go find a goal some way that way. Especially when you're just throwing balls up into the front and looking for a goal. He's perfect for that. He can just sit there and poach and try and get a goal that way. But I think but Chris is 100% correct. There's enough spots that are properly filled that I think he's better off in that role. And My bigger concern with him is I don't want to see a Reggie Lewis incident with him. So I really hope they take their time with him. March may not be. I would think he might be more summer into that. I don't doubt he's ready for games until at least May.
Yeah, I don't think
It would
anybody
definitely
really
be
wants
hard
to
to
rush
see him,
him
yeah.
at this point. I think everybody's kind of on the same page here that we need to make sure that, you know, his heart's ready to go fully. And so
He hasn't said anything about how many people can fit in a house, so he's not gone Reggie Lewis yet.
I want to jump in so bad, but we're gonna let it go. This is like the time that we talked about Alexis Sanchez's dogs not working out well in China. I wanted to say more, but
I'll say it. Dinner.
yeah. Sorry, Adam and Humber. We've got a lot of other things. Where do you want to go next? Should we go real quick? I want to mention that
I say we talk about some of the deals. And while we're in the Northwest, we should talk about Dom Dwyer. Apparently, is almost a U.S. citizen. Apparently, so that may be good news as well.
Yes,
the mixed message there. Kakuta Mana has apparently gone home from the Camp Cupcake group. So, and while not quite a citizen, I take it back.
Is a citizen,
not a citizen, but not quite prepared to play for the U.S. or cleared to play for the U.S. yet. So,
and he's going on preseason tour with the Whitecaps, who are in Wales, which is a place that's worked out well for Americans lately. So, wishing him well in Wales. And two dudes with not as good fortune in Camp Cupcake. Kellen Acosta, our guy who once liked one of our Instagram photos, so he's right now at the top of our list of favorite players.
We love you, Kellen Acosta.
And Matt Hedges, both out with not the worst injuries in the world, but a minor knee and a minor ankle for those two guys. But two guys I wanted to see play. So that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. I mean, both of them, I think, had a shot to prove something here. I would think Acosta was the most likely one, but Hedges certainly has the resume over the last couple of years to have gotten a chance. You know, why he hasn't seen more of a chance so far. Some of that I think is just the depth of kind of players at that position. But you know, both of them I think had a real shot here. And it would have been nice to see it really come to fruition. It's unfortunate, but you know, at least they're only minor injuries at this point. They're not going to risk, not playing for a club because they pushed it too hard at a camp that doesn't mean that much.
One of the things I wanted to mention about the two upcoming matches. The first one, of course, is Serbia on Sunday in San Diego, a place that just lost the Chargers and was rumored to be in the running for an MLS team. And right now, only 11,500 tickets sold to that match. That's pretty disappointing. On the flip side, Chattanooga's already sold 13,000. I would imagine their stadium doesn't hold much more than that. So it's a decent number, I guess, for Chattanooga, but that's really disappointing in my view for San Diego. If you want an MLS team, get out there and show up and go to this match. If you know, I know it's a meaningless friendly. I know it's a third-rate USMNT team, but you got to show up and prove it.
Well, I guess I'll step in on this one. The first thing is their MLS, the investors are basically saying they're privately financing, but by privately financing, it means they will pay back eventually, I think, half the cost of the stadium they want to build San Diego State University for. So I don't think that's going to go that far. The other thought is, I'm going to quote the great Ron Burgundy, go fuck yourself, San Diego. But that said, Chattanooga Stadium is 20,000. So anyway,
I was hoping Chattanooga was 65,000. Isn't that how the old song goes? Chattanooga 65,000.
I think the women got like 19 or 20 when they played there. So still a bit of time left to sell those tickets. And I think that number will be close to a sellout by the time that game rolls around, which will be cool to see. I'd like to go.
Indeed.
But it doesn't look like we're going to get down there.
Yeah, it's not happening for me right now, but no, Games in Tennessee are fun. I think Tennessee is kind of a fun place. I guess we could go see the burned out Dollywood along the way, but no, I can't. I can't make that trip right now.
This summer we'll be in Tennessee for a match at the Gold Cup. That's when we're definitely looking at Nashville. But yeah, if we're gonna do that and we're gonna do Mexico City, maybe we leave off the friendly in Chattanooga. Just watch that one on TV. We do think we're going to be doing a live show after that match, after both matches, really. This Sunday we'll be live, if all goes as planned, after the Serbia match, and then we'll see what we're doing after the Chattanooga match. But when you want to react, when you want to somewhat reasonably okay, maybe not that mediocre breakdown of what happened, you know where to find us here on YouTube. It's going to be outstanding. I think those numbers too, the 11.5 for Serbia and the 13,000 for Chattanooga, those are not alternative facts. Those are actual facts. Alternatively, there will be 1.5 million people at each game.
Don't lie like the media. Douglas Perez has a nice has a comment here that I guess ties into some of what we're talking about. With a couple extra spots available, will Bruce call up the DeAndre Yedlin? No, he won't. I could see him calling up some people. DeAndre, no. We were going to talk about DeAndre anyway because he is one of the bright spots of the last weekend with 2 assists for Newcastle. Some were even calling him right now the best defender in the championship. You can't fault some American fans getting excited about that. That's excellent to see. But on top of that, no, he's in form. He's playing well. He's at a club that isn't going to let him go. There's no way DeAndre in particular is getting called up. But I have been curious if Deuce or somebody would get called in because of the extra spots. But
yeah,
we'll see.
Typically the only European-based guys you'll see in a January U.S. camp would be somebody playing in Norway or someplace it's actually in their off season right now, or you sometimes will see a guy who isn't getting a lot of playing time. Maybe he's playing with the reserves or somebody like that. Gideon Zalalem, another guy we'll get to soon, would have been an okay call up for this camp because he just flat out wasn't playing at Arsenal, but he is going to be playing for his new team in Holland, in the second division of Holland, VVV Venlo. Is that right? I've never heard of this team, actually.
All V's.
V for Victor.
Venlo made just for V.
This is good news because presumably he's going to be playing for this team, which he wasn't doing for Arsenal. And if the second Dutch division is anything like the top division there, he's probably going to score like 15 to 18 goals because it seems like those scores are off the charts in Holland. So good for him, and hopefully he gets some playing time. I think we've seen the end of him at Arsenal. I think he'll probably move on a free transfer at some point in the summer now. There were rumors that he was going to go to Mönchengladbach or to Dortmund. But like we talked about in our last show, why would you buy him when you can have him for free in the summer? So that seems like a bad piece of business to pay for him now. Looks like Arsenal's going to lose him on a free, unless maybe he's tremendous and they think they have a spot for him, but I just don't see it.
I think that's exactly right. Especially going to the second division in the Netherlands, it just seems to me that if he was truly, I think, in the running for a position at, say, Dortmund or Mönchengladbach, you'd see a little more competition for him. You'd see somebody trying to impress him, and I just can't imagine that a player who might get signed for a top flight team in Germany is going to end up just as
exactly,
as somebody on a loan deal with a second division team in Holland. Holland at least is a great league for players who are looking to improve, looking to kind of showcase themselves before they move on to someplace, in particular, someplace like Germany. So in that regard, it is a positive move. But I would have thought he could at least get a loan deal to a top flight team in the league. I mean, he's played in the top flight in Scotland. He has at least played for Arsenal.
Well, he wasn't Rangers in the second division of Scotland last year when he played there.
Yeah, that might actually be correct.
But
yes, they were second division in Scotland. They got promoted after this past season. He's played the Scottish Cup a couple of times for them. I just hope the Dutch second division is like the Dutch first division in that the goal scoring is inflated by about tenfold of what you do in anywhere else in Europe. So for his sake, he'll have like 50 goals and be able to go somewhere else where he can get some minutes that way.
I don't think it's time to give up on him by any means. He's still really young.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah,
he's crazy skinny. He needs.
He's not Freddy Adu.
No. We're of no risk of losing him internationally because he did have the one-time transfer. He had to go through all the paperwork with FIFA. I don't think that there's any rules in place that would allow him to go anywhere else. And
no.
The only places he could go would be Germany, which obviously wouldn't have him yet, or Ethiopia, which he probably wouldn't want to go to. So we've got him. And we don't need to call him up to cap tie him. It's not like some of the other guys like Lyndon Gooch, or like we talked about, we wanted to see Cameron Carter-Vickers called up, or that Christian Pulisic guy.
Who?
We'll talk about him in a moment. But yeah, he'll be fine. And speaking of Pulisic, new deal at Dortmund. He's now signed through 2020 at Dortmund. I'd imagine there's some language in this next contract that if like Real Madrid comes calling, there's probably a number built into it. This is great. He's in a great spot. We talked about several times on this show that we didn't want to see him go to another team, not even Liverpool. We thought he was in the right spot. I think he is. Dortmund's a place that develops young talent well. He plays well. He's loved by the fans. Let's leave well enough alone right now. And
they've got some guys who presumably are going to move on sometime in the next probably year or two.
Yeah.
Because they've got some big names, and either their contracts are going to be too big to stay at Dortmund, or just the attention is going to keep them, is going to make them too big to stay at Dortmund. So I think there are opportunities coming for some of these young kids who, can show their talent, and he certainly has. So I actually, this is perhaps my favorite U.S. signing period to date, across the board. So, no, big news for him. It's really positive, and I think congratulations to him.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but you might be right. This might be the best, biggest signing that this country has ever had. I mean, who else would it be? It maybe McBride or Dempsey at Fulham, or when Deuce went to Tottenham, which gets downgraded a few marks because he went to Tottenham.
Who?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Shit. But yeah, I think you might be right. This might be the best club signing ever.
What about
maybe Josie at Benfica if that had actually worked out?
Yeah.
Well, what about Landy Cakes? Didn't he wind up at Bayern for a little bit too?
Jurgen
that would have been big.
That was a loan deal, though, wasn't it?
I would say, yeah. And maybe the only other competition I was going to say would maybe be Donovan at Everton. But again, that would still be loan too. But in both cases, at least, it was somebody who was showing well and was winning over the fans and things. It was good for them. It was good for the team. It was just an all-around positive experience, I think. So in that regard, no, I don't know of a more positive experience that I can, or a more positive contract experience, whatever, that I can think of for an American and the team that they're signing with. So congrats to to Pulisic.
No, I think it's a great signing, great position for him. I mean, he's still on Bayern's feeder team with Dortmund. He'll get minutes there, and when all goes right, Bayern will bring him up to the A squad if he keeps progressing the way he has. The only other one I thought of that might have fit that bill would have been Claudio Reyna as well when he went from Leverkusen to Rangers.
A couple of their big moves this week. Is the Jonathan Spector to Orlando deal done at this point, or is that still rumored? Do you guys have the latest?
Done. It's done. They have pictures of him signing today. He's done.
It'll be good to watch him again. He's a guy who's been off my radar for a while. The guy who got a lot of games with the national team, a few years back. This could be a good move. I think Orlando's there are MLS teams that care and MLS teams that don't. Orlando is definitely one that cares. So I don't think that move will hurt him at all. What do you guys think?
Unlike, say, teams that say, I don't know, Dax McCarty have signed for. No, I do think this is actually probably a good way for him to kind of end his career. Well, not tomorrow, but
right.
He's got to be. I don't know what his age is, but he's got to be about 32. I'm guessing somewhere around there now. It's been quite a while since he played for Man U. 10 years, something like that.
What do you got, TJ? How old is he?
See, I've been looking this up. This is the beauty of having two screens. He's 30. He'll be 31 in March. He left Manchester United at the end of 2006, and then went to West Ham from there. So, he's been with Birmingham City since 2011. There were rumors. He's from Chicago. That was why the Fire fan base got all butthurt about him not signing there and going to Orlando City. It sounds like the team has plans, but until they win games, their plans should be taken at no value until they actually show their plans actually mean something and they actually work.
TJ, you mentioned, or Chris, you mentioned Dax McCarty, traded from New York to the Chicago Fire. The Fire finally got rid of all that monopoly money they had built up and brought in Dax. Dax still hasn't said the words Chicago Fire in person or on Twitter or anywhere else. TJ, you've got a theory on this that we should, as Chicago Fire fans, not overreact to this, right?
Well, he was a captain of Red Bull. He was the heart and soul of the team. I think he was either on his honeymoon or about to go on his honeymoon after Camp Cupcake. His wife, I'm guessing, is from New York City. Leaving New York City isn't something he wanted to do. He got traded basically for money. He got sold. And I think it just stung him a bit. He understands the business. He'll be fine. He'll show up. He'll play well. He'll provide the leadership that club needs desperately. But give him some time. It's quite a shock going from New York City, which I'm guessing, like I said, has got part of his family there, to Bridgeview. I get it. I get it's the swamps of Harrison to Bridgeview. So, but it's Bridgeview. Give him some time. He'll be fine. He'll be there. When he's done with Camp Cupcake and he gets everything sorted out, because he wasn't exactly in town when this happened. So I think it was more at this point, he was just making sure to say his goodbyes to Red Bull, because I think that was not anything he ever anticipated. So that was kind of my take on that.
That's probably fair.
You could, the flip side may be that he's angling for a move out of Chicago and doesn't even want any part of it. But he seems like a classy guy, and he actually seems like the type of guy that, like you said, could provide the leadership that team needs. And the Fire, although there are many problems, are quite a bit better now on paper than they have been in a while. So
they still really need somebody kind of in that sort of holding box-to-box defensive, however you can play him or want to play him.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that kind of central midfield position that he's going to get. And that I actually think this is a really good signing for the Fire. I'm
from a Fire
without another team in place. I'm still
from a Fire perspective,
still there to see the Fire.
From a Fire perspective, they definitely improved the center of their team. I mean, you have him and you have Juninho playing, both of them, they're similar players, but I think that's a team with as bad as their backs have been. You might want to have two guys that can play central defender and not necessarily get lost in the attack. And that was good use of funny money on both of them. I think Juninho's holding a DP spot for now, but they have the money to buy him down if they have somebody else in mind. I don't know what their plans are fully at this point. I don't think anybody does, including Nelson Rodriguez. So, but again, I'm of the opinion at this point they've been bad for so many years. Yeah, I still go watch them, but they have to prove that they're good again. Paper doesn't do it. We've seen a lot of teams over the years that are good on paper and then absolutely suck when it comes to playing. Let's see what happens.
Probably the last topic of the night. Landon Donovan spoke words this week saying that this is the most talented U.S. national team ever, but the team has a problem with the fight and hunger. Probably fair. It kind of piggybacked off what Tim Howard said, that some of the Germans don't really care about playing for the U.S. And then Tim Howard kind of backed down on that and said, well, no, Fabian's here and Jermaine plays hard. What I wrote on a website you should read every day, although we haven't been posting a lot on it lately, called USfanTV.com. I wish Timmy just came out and said, Timmy Chandler didn't want to play for the U.S. because that's what it seemed like he was saying, because nobody questions Jermaine and nobody questions Fabian. And I don't like when you target a whole group, because then you got the whole group pissed at you. Just say what you mean. And Timmy's in a very good position to say what he means if he wants to call somebody out publicly, he as one of the leaders of the team. We debated whether Timmy Chandler just didn't give a shit in the last couple of games or whether he was playing the entire right side of the field and just got tired. But if you want to say something about somebody's heart, call them out directly. Don't call them out because of, the fact that they have two passports. But yeah, I back to what Landon said. Yes. I think at the very top end, we've had better teams, with a better Michael Bradley, with Landon, and with a better Clint Dempsey. We've had better players at the very high end of the team, but top to bottom, the team's better than it's ever been. It's just a matter of getting them to play as a team and getting them to play for a coach. And that's what Bruce is here to do. I think he'll be able to do it. But we'll see.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with Donovan's statement. Absolutely. For the time being, basically each generation of the team we have is the most talented team we've ever had. The people who say, like, we go back to a couple of the guys from the 90s and a couple of guys, John Harkes would be so much better than these guys. And I'm not saying maybe individually there aren't some cases where statements like that could be true, but collectively, we're far superior. You couldn't. I'm not sure. Well, one of the things I said in 2006 was that I kind of thought Claudio Reyna was running out of a spot because he just couldn't fit with the pace of the team that was around him. To some extent, I think now, while he still is talented enough to make this squad, certainly, I think he'd run into the same problem of we have talent and speed now. We had speed then and a little bit of talent with a couple players, but we didn't have a ton of it. We're actually seeing some genuine talent now, and I think that it's for the star players. Of course, they'd still be on this team. They'd still play well. They'd still be out there. I think John Harkes is one. I think Claudio Reyna certainly is one. There are a few others, I guess you could cite, but all in all, no, the overall level of the skill of the team is far superior to what it used to be.
I agree. They definitely have the skill. Like you said, each generation gets better. The question starts becoming, do they have the technical ability necessary? And we are kind of the consensus that Jurgen kind of got in the way of any sort of technical ability working. However, we'll see if that's the case, or if truly the technical ability isn't there. Bruce, if they can't get it right technically under Bruce, they're not going to.
Yeah, it should be pretty simple under Bruce, and a lot more clear and a lot more consistent, which is something that the guys haven't had in a long time, because you never knew what Jurgen was going to throw at him, and I think Bruce will keep it a lot more even. Players playing the same positions, players playing the positions they play at their clubs, a standard formation, whether it's 4-4-2 or something else that they know that they're going to have. That's what you get with Bruce, and Bruce is not going to tolerate anybody who isn't fully committed to playing for the crest. And so if he does feel that there's anybody like that, not only will they not be on the team, I would imagine he'd call them out publicly. So we'll see. We'll see where all these guys stand. And we mentioned, like I was saying, maybe we don't have the top level skill right now at the very top that we've had before, but Fabian's definitely up there. And if Christian Pulisic continues to progress at this level, he'll be our best player ever. So we will have that again, and we could have that again in who knows, very soon. So, yeah, we're in okay shape.
Like Marcelo Balboa, I think, could probably still play defense for us, but he's not better than like Jeff Cameron.
Right. Yeah.
Steve Cherundolo, yeah, he could still play. He's probably our best right back ever, but he's not that far retired. So to some extent, that's, you're still, even though his best days are probably 10 years ago, he's only been retired for what, 3 years now?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 from really the US. And even some of that was injuries that kind of robbed him of, I think, more chances to be seen by more fans. So, and I don't know. We could certainly discuss that the players are certainly the star players could still play, but yeah, overall, absolutely, we're better.
Yeah, let's just hope they get it together and win those couple of games in March, and we'll be sitting in a very different position than we are now, because America is not first. America is last right now in the Hex. Don't tell Donald Trump, because America is not first in the Hex.
And as Ricky Bobby says, if you're not first, you're last.
That's right, Ricky Bobby. Woo! Shake and bake. Thursday, we're probably going to be on the internet with the program, and we're probably going to talk about the Serbia match a little bit more. We're also probably going to talk about the Howler article written by former Chicago Fire GM Peter Wilt. First guest of USfanTV. That should be
first guest of USfanTV.
Let me redo that. We're going to talk about the Howler article written by USfanTV's first ever guest and the former general manager of the Chicago Fire and other teams, Peter Wilt. Peter basically makes the argument for, makes the argument against. It's a lot of stuff that you've heard before, but he gives some pretty specific ideas as to how we might implement it in the United States. And he, I think, at times makes some stretches in the article. Maybe you guys would agree with that.
A little bit.
We're going to talk about that because we love Howler magazine. If you've never read it, go support it, buy it. It's a good magazine. They actually try to do some decent soccer journalism and succeed most of the time. There's cool pictures and artwork in there. I like Howler. We want to support Howler. We want to talk about that Howler article. We're going to do that Thursday night here on USfanTV Live because we've been rambling for a long time tonight, and we don't want to get into it tonight. So Thursday night, the Serbia match, and whatever comes up between now and then. Is there anything I'm missing? Any final words, guys?
Emerson Hyndman. We didn't mention him.
Ooh, yes.
Another American with a big weekend. Got his first match, with Rangers and assisted on the game-winning goal. Came in, quickly got the assist. Love to see that because he's got the talent to play. He just needs to get playing time so we can get back into really the senior squad now, or kind of into the senior squad. I mean, he was in the youth picture for so long. He's always been kind of one of those guys that, he's the future. but he hasn't gotten the chance because he just hasn't gotten the playing minutes. And I think some of that also has to do. If he's getting it done, he's going to get the chances. And it was nice to see then in his first game there, because really this move to Bournemouth, he was only there 6 months and already to be gone. It's unfortunate it didn't work out because things seem to be looking up for him at Fulham. It's exceptional to see that he would get in and immediately make a difference in his first game with a new team, and that it is Rangers, so a lot of Americans have had a lot of good history there. As long as you discount the guys who were there when they decided to run out of money.
Yeah. Let's do the rundown of stuff we have. We have things. We have social media accounts. We have a website. It's USFanTV.com. We write for it. Visit it and read what we write. We have a Twitter at USFanTV. We tweet all the time. It's either Chris or me. You don't know who it is because we don't put our little initials after or anything, but it doesn't matter. You don't care. We just tweet all the time. Most of the time, we're making fun of things. Sometimes we're trying to be informative. We have Facebook and Instagram. That's USFanTV on both of those. Do we have anything else? We have a YouTube, but I always say,
Instagram.
You know that we have YouTube because you're watching this right now. So thanks for figuring that out. What you should do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're almost to 150 subscribers if we haven't hit there yet. Subscribe to this fine channel, and then you'll get to see us do these shows on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I think that's all we have.
You can leave us cool comments or make fun of us. It's all right.
And one more thing. This is a plea that we put out to you. If you, for some reason, and I don't know why you would, if you enjoy this show, tell a friend. Say, hey, friend, there are these guys on the internet. You should watch them. USFanTV. Tell them. Write about us on the internet. Put things up that say, hey, this show is terrible, but, if you've got nothing better to do,
but you could laugh at them at least.
You could laugh at them. You can make fun of them. Comment on the video. We appreciate it all. Even if you hate us, we don't really care. Just talk about us, please. We want to be loved or hated. Just remembered, really, more than anything.
We're just narcissists.
I think that covers it. TJ, any final words from you?
I've got nothing for tonight. I think you covered everything well. Look forward to Thursday.
Chris, what do you got?
I will tip my hat and say you are done.
You are done, everyone.